Alright, we have the OPPO Reno 4, the OPPO Reno4 Pro, and also the new Enco TWS earphones from OPPO. 3 products launched by OPPO recently. And actually the OPPO Reno 4 and 4 Pro are really different. Even though the specs do look pretty similar, they do use the same Snapdragon 765G chipset. The Pro is definitely a Pro type of phone over the non-Pro. So you get this flat screen, AMOLED screen on the Reno 4, and you do get this dual cutout as well, which is pretty small. But without a doubt, this phone just seems very mid-range. It's a mid-range phone from the specs and in the design and the build. But when you switch over to the Reno 4 Pro, it is really evident why this phone is more expensive. You still get the 765G chipset, but the design overall is just, it's basically very high-end, almost flagship grade design. This actually reminds me of the Find X2 Pro. I would call this phone actually a mini or mid-range Find X2 Pro. It keeps that amazing design from that phone. You get this curved AMOLED display. It's a 90Hz refresh rate, this tiny hole punch design. On the back you have this matte finish, and yeah, those iPhone 11 camera units, it does look like that, but obviously a different design with the vertical array. But take that away and it's just a brilliant looking phone. OPPO have done a really good job here. If you look at the specs on this phone, yes, it seems expensive for the specs anyway. There are much cheaper phones with this processor and with triple cameras, but the design, the feel, the look, the materials that OPPO have used are really premium. So that is why it's more expensive. It costs more for a curved display. You get 65-watt charging as well with the 4000 mAh battery, which, well, that's just not going to get beaten by any other phone. The camera system also is a proper triple camera system, ultra wide, main and a zoom camera as well. I'm not really sure how I feel about the Reno Glow branding on the side plastered on there, but hey, they've done it, and I guess you kind of get used to it the more you hold it, but definitely I prefer this red one. It is a beautiful design and a beautiful screen. If you were looking at the Find X2 Pro, which, I mean, it's just an amazing phone, but it is very expensive. This is essentially what I believe to be a mini version, a slightly cheaper version. Also, the matte finish on the back is actually quite rough to the touch. Definitely not as smooth as the OnePlus 8 Pro, but a really unique design in any case. The 90Hz screen is really high quality as well. You can tell this is somewhere they've spent the money, and curved as well. This type of screen is just really expensive. The unit cost of a curved high refresh rate OLED screen is expensive, which again does explain some of the reason that this isn't going to be one of the best bang for your buck phones in terms of power and price. There are cheaper phones out there for sure in the mid-range, but there's not many that beat this phone in terms of the quality of it, the quality of the components. It is Gorilla Glass 6 on there on the front as well, and for example, it has UFS 2.1 storage, which does get beaten by UFS 3.0, but again, there are some compromises in this. There are some really high-end specs, but overall, as a package, as a premium mid-range, I guess you would call this, it really does well. You also get that 32 megapixel camera in the front for the selfie camera, which is the same as the non-Pro version. The non-Pro adds a 2 megapixel depth sensor though. Definitely odd for the non-Pro to have, I guess you could say, another component that the Pro doesn't have, but I guess OPPO wanted to keep this absolutely gorgeous design and really keep it looking like they're more premium phones like the Find X2 Pro. I really can't give you my opinions on the camera overall in the shop. It's just impossible to really tell how good the camera is, but it's a pretty good zoom range. You do get up to 30 times zoom in the photo option. It's a 2 times optical zoom camera, but it goes to 30 times in photo. you can go up to 20 times in video as well. 4K video recording on here, and you do have something which OPPO calls super steady mode, which you can flip into, which will make your videos appear a bit smoother. There's also something which OPPO calls Smart HDR, which apparently gives you better video in low light, some better dynamic range overall in low light situations. OPPO also did release the Enco W1 earphones, TWS earphones, as you can see here, and these, yeah, they've borrowed some of the designs from the AirPods Pro maybe, but they're definitely unique. They have some unique design features, and they're, I would say, different enough from the AirPod Pros. OPPO really are coming out with some amazing products right now. We have the OPPO Watch, these new earbuds. The Find X2 Pro is just an out-and-out flagship phone, and the Reno4 Pro, I guess the more affordable version of that one. Anyway, we have the Reno 4, the 4 Pro, and these new earbuds. Let me know what you think in the comments about all of these new products from OPPO.